Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Vicky, and on my channel we do fun, easy, perfectly imperfect crafting. So if that sounds like your thing, why not hang around for a little bit? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, doesn't matter what you do as long as you have fun. Today is day 4 of December Dailies prompts. This was yesterday's prompt, and I'm just showing you that I did end up journaling on the back of that tag that we put into the pocket on my blue page, just saying how much Ruby likes to help in her own way when decorating, and then obviously my red and gold on the other side. So today's prompt is obviously for day 4, and it is to journal or write about what you would like to improve on in the next year. The prompt itself, when I read it, I was like, oh gosh, I don't know. I kind of felt as if there was a lot that I wanted to improve on. So I kind of tried to narrow it down, and I decided to stick with like a crafting theme or goal that I wanted to achieve for next year. And one thing that has always bugged me is altered books. I've tried so many times to do it, and I've just never ever been happy with the end result. So I thought, well, maybe this could be a nice little challenge for me and hold myself accountable and kind of put it out there and make a series out of it and show people that, you know, making this kind of stuff isn't easy. It's time consuming, it's tricky, it can sometimes be quite technical, and overwhelming as well when you've got other things to be doing, and this is meant to be the craft that relaxes you. It can sometimes feel quite daunting when you're not getting it right all the time. So I definitely wanted to improve on it, and I thought, well, I'll give myself a whole year to make an altered book, and we'll see how it goes. That's my goal for 2025, to see if I can actually make an altered book, enjoy the process, and like the end result. So for the decoration of today's spread, because it's a altered book theme, that's what I want to work on in next year. I definitely wanted to incorporate some book pages. I had a massive roll of leftover book page snippet roll, like little ruffles, so I knew that I would definitely be using that on this page. And then obviously I just grabbed some book page and ripped them up, and also ripped up some origami paper, because I think I did say in a previous video that I did want to really utilise that paper within the journal, and I thought what better way to do it than with a collage, a scrap collage. I'm not sure why I went with the colours red and green. I do know that obviously they do scream Christmas, but every page within that origami book that I have is Christmas themed, so I'm not 100% sure why it was just green and red, but maybe that was the little bit of perfectionist coming out in me, that it all needed to technically match, which is something I need to try and get out of the habit of doing, is making things that are matchy, especially with junk journals, because it's not needed. They're so creative and they're so random that you really do not need to plan it out so strategically. I could have thrown in a pink coloured paper in there if I wanted, as long as it was Christmas themed, or as long as I liked it. It really didn't matter. Maybe it was because my tag on the other side was going to be predominantly green and red. Maybe that's why I chose to try and tie it in. I'm going to go with that. That makes the most sense, because otherwise it's just me being really anal, and I'd rather just say that I wanted to be coordinating. So I've just laid down all of that collage on the other side of the page. I did want to cover that whole page, because although it was really pretty, it didn't feel very Christmassy, so I definitely wanted to cover it with something Christmassy. So that collage has achieved that effect, and definitely wanted to carry that on over to the other page as well. So I decorated the tag pocket with some of the collage pieces as well, because I ended up with quite a lot of pieces. I didn't realise quite how much I was ripping up. I could have probably done with a lot less, but I thought it's only going to go in my ephemera bag for this journal anyway, so it will get used at some point. It's not going to go to waste. So I just cracked on with it really and just decorated the tag. I then pulled in a pre-made wax melt stamp that I've got tons of them sitting in my drawer, and I knew I had a green one somewhere, so I just pulled that one out, along with some gingham ribbon that I had stashed away in one of my drawers. I wasn't too sure if I wanted a bow, and then when I see that the wax stamp itself had a bow on it, I was like, oh, I don't really want to put a double bow down. So I went with like just a little ruffle instead. I was quite happy with how it turned out. I literally just folded it into 3 and glued the edges down so that obviously I could fiddle and fart with it and not have it falling apart on me. And then once they were glued down on the sides, I just kind of scrunched it in the middle and applied glue into that crease as well, just to give it a bit of volume, so that it wasn't just going to sit flat on the page. You do obviously have to be quite careful when you are hot gluing the wax melts, because obviously once they are hot they remelt, so you do have to be quite careful not to apply too much glue, but also making sure you've got enough glue to ensure that it does actually stick down. Once you've done it a few times, it just becomes second nature and you don't really think about it. I have burnt my fingers a couple of times, but that doesn't matter. That's what us crafters do, isn't it? So I didn't actually explain in the first half of this video, but the photo that you see me keep pulling in and that I sat and cut at the beginning of the video is the book that I am planning to use for this said goal. It was a book that my daughter bought for herself. She was really excited about reading it. She loves anything kind of like fantasy or sci-fi, and she picked it up in a supermarket, and she was currently reading a book at the time, and she was like, oh no, I won't buy it yet because I'm still reading, because it's hardback, so obviously it was a little bit more expensive. I think it was about £15. I said to her, just buy it, you know you're going to read it, you know you're going to enjoy it, just buy it, leave it on the shelf. Once you've finished your book that you are reading, you can move on and you've got this one ready to go. So she bought it, she finished her book, and she started reading this one, and she was so disappointed with it. I think she read about 12 pages and she said, I can't, it's just not, it's not what I thought it was at all. It was so disappointing for her because it was so brand new and she spent £15 on it. We was both kind of like looking at it like, I just can't throw it away. It's just a waste to throw it away. My other daughter, 1, she reads on a Kindle, and 2, she's not really into the sci-fi or fantasy book theme, so I couldn't even give it to her, and I don't know anybody who reads that kind of genre. So I decided, I was like playing around with it, and I said, it's a really lovely book, the cover's really pretty, it's a nice size as well, and I thought, actually, you know what, I think I might try and do something with it. So I put it to the side and I forgot about it. Then when I see this prompt, I kind of thought, well, I've been dying to make an altered book, and I have got that hardback sitting in the cupboard, so really I should use that and make it a challenge for myself to use that book, reuse the book, so that it's not like a total waste of money for my daughter, and she can feel a little bit justified that the book went to good use. So that's the book here. I think, I can't remember what it was called, When the Moon Hatched, I think it was called. Nothing against the book in particular, it just wasn't to my daughter's taste in the end. She thought it would be, but turned out she didn't much like it. So again, I'm just using those gold glitter strips. They're definitely going to be used throughout this journal, And it's lucky that I like gold and I like glitter, really, isn't it? Because yeah, I've got them in abundance. So I decided to turn the photo itself into a pocket for me to use to store the prompt card, and just try to kind of tie in the collage on top of the photo to kind of just literally just tie it in and make sure that it kind of all blended in with each other. So I just gave it a bit of glitter down the side and a bit of book page on the top, and then proceeded to glue just the edges along the top, the bottom and the left hand side so that I could use that as a pocket. I felt like the opposite page, not that it was too plain, but that top half in particular, I definitely felt like it needed a little something up there, and I had a massive amount of ripped pieces still left over, so I thought that I would just try and tie in absolutely everything. So I just took like one piece of the origami paper and put that with a strip of gold glitter card just to tie it in and to finish it off, and I think it looks really nice. It did definitely finish it off. So that is today's prompt finished. I will journal on that tag and show you the finished product tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Bye.